Alright, so today we're going to be using iOS 6 in 2020. Alright, so we're just going to pretend we're on the setup screen. Okay, we are on the setup screen. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to enter your Wi-Fi password. Alright, done. Next. Disable. Yeah, I'm not leaking my location. We're setting this up as a new phone. Alright, if we want to have a chance of actually using iOS 6, we probably have to sign in with an Apple ID. Alright, we're going to accept the terms and conditions. I read through all of that, I promise. Alright, we're not going to use iCloud. We're going to use Siri. We're not going to send the analytics. And we're going to start using our iPhone. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn up the brightness. Alright, so before we do anything, we need to be jailbroken. This is honestly required. We have no other choice if we want to restore any legacy functionality back into iOS 6. I'm just going to show a demonstration of what happens if we try and download any apps. No! Well, I'm just going to show you what happens if we try and download anything from the App Store. Yay! Now that I've demonstrated that no apps will download in iOS 6, we have to go to Cydia, go to Sources, Edit and Add, and we're going to add this repo. I don't care. Okay, it's somehow downloaded. Checkmate Store. This will allow us to use the App Store in iOS 6. And not have that app incompatibility message that we just had. Siri. Okay, so we're gonna go into the App Store again. We're gonna try and download another app. Oh, come on, I forgot about this. So to actually download apps on iOS 6, I need to use this old version of iTunes. Come on! We have some very high quality software up in here. Problem, Apple Push. Apple Push? What does that even mean? What? Okay, alright, makes sense. Okay, so to actually download apps on iOS 6, I need to download this old version of iTunes. I don't even know. I don't know what I'm doing with my life right now. Okay, so we need to sign into this old version of iTunes. Alright, what was I trying to download? The reason we're actually using this older version of iTunes is because the newer versions actually don't have an app store. They only have an iTunes store. I don't know why they decided to remove the app store, but here we go. So I actually need to have this app linked to my Apple ID to actually download it. So, okay, so, alright, it's downloading. Okay, so I'm just gonna assume it should be on my Apple ID now. Oh, look, it's actually already purchased. So can I download an older version of this now? Nice. Nice. Okay, nice. I have to download a different application now. Let's go. All right, we're back on the iPhone again. All right, let's see. I already saw it in the purchase section. Heads up. See, there you go. We actually successfully downloaded an older app, and it only took like going into iTunes, downloading an older version, just logging into your Apple ID on the computer, downloading the app, and then coming back to your iPhone, and then downloading the older version. This is what Apple makes you do. Alright, we're downloading. Oh yeah, you could also theoretically just ask someone else for a newer iPhone, log into that phone, with your Apple ID, download the app, delete it again, go back to the, yeah. It's the same process, except you're not using a computer. But just as a proof of concept, I just want to show it actually works. And I guess while this is downloading, we can go ahead, we can go back to Cydia, and I can show you the other tweaks in this repo. This is actually a really useful repo if you want to use legacy versions of iOS. So Discord Classic, Discord client for older versions of iOS. Double tweet length, so if you use Twitter, you can tweet up to 280 characters, which is great. We're gonna need G sign-in fix in a second. I don't know what this does. I don't know what this does. Sim alert suppression. This removes the no sim alerts. Yeah, you could probably tell by that description right there. Tube Fixer will be covering that soon. So, let's go to heads up. Place on forehead. Let's just pretend. Alright. Okay. Alright, that was fun. Okay, so, now that we've learned how to download a single app on iOS 6, and it's also an older app, I guess I can go through some important stock apps. So iMessage still works, it's just an older version. Weather apparently doesn't work. However, I really want like some kind of tweak developer, a legacy tweak developer, to bring back functionality of this. Possibly the person who owns the Invoxy Play Games repo. That would be cool. Older version of Mail. So to actually log into Gmail, I don't know about other email clients, but you actually need to turn on less secure apps, which is, I mean, Yeah, this makes you really comfortable using iOS 6. Oh, okay, even Apple's own website can't load properly in iOS 6. Good luck using Safari. Yeah, let's download YouTube. Yeah, let's download Google Chrome. And these are two apps I just want to show off two other tweaks that will help restore some legacy functionality. Alright, so I know for sure that YouTube has a lot of issues in iOS 6 and even other Google apps, but I think YouTube is the biggest issue. So first, we don't even have a stock YouTube app anymore, which was removed in iOS 5, so that's great. Let's go to YouTube. And the problem with this version of YouTube, you might be able to use it, right? If you try and sign in, it's gonna crash. I know, is it gonna crash? Yeah, it crashes. So good luck using this version. And if you launch it again after you launch it for the first time, it's gonna ask you to update. If you try and update, it's not gonna let you because this is iOS 6. The same thing goes for Chrome, except you can actually use Google Chrome. We're gonna accept and continue, blah, blah. If we sign into Chrome, it's gonna crash, as I said. So a lot of Google apps are broken right now. That's where the other tweaks from this repo come in. So if we go into packages, the two tweaks we will need is G-Sign-In Fix. So this basically allows you to sign into Google apps, not just YouTube. For every single Google app. And Tube Fixer will fix YouTube from that update required message. So let's go ahead and click confirm. All right, if you actually go use YouTube now, you can actually sign in. I'm not gonna sign into this. I'm not gonna sign into YouTube. I can if I want to, and I would if I started using this, but I'm not going to. But as you can see, it's not crashing anymore. It's actually showing the web page. That's great, but we're gonna continue as a guest. Let's go ahead and sell out my own channel, just as a proof of concept that YouTube does work. And I'm actually surprised that this works. Let's go to my latest video, the Windows 7 Survival Guide. Alright, we can hear it works. Let's go to... Alright, it works. I guess another thing I can show off is this website/forum that hosts a bunch of IPAs for older versions of apps, so you don't have to go through that whole process of going into iTunes. Oh, by the way, I guess I could plug this in. Check out the Legacy Jailbreak Reddit. It's gonna help you a lot if you want to do stuff like this. So this is actually a website. Let's see, Momentum Store. So this is a website that hosts a bunch of IPAs for older versions of apps. And if you download a tweak called AppSync Unified, I'm not going to download it. You can easily find it somewhere. AppSync Unified, it'll allow you to download IPAs onto your iOS 6 device, and you can use that app. I wouldn't recommend using this right now, just because it's like everything is a bit broken here. Some of the IPAs don't work for me, and sometimes when I try and import an app, it doesn't want to work. So I guess I shouldn't recommend this, but I'm just saying for the record that it's getting there. This has a lot of potential. And also there's a web app. And if you pin this, if you go to the iOS 6 apps, pin this or add this to our home screen, it'll actually act like an app. There's no Safari or anything like that. Like, this is actually acting like an app. And if you have a 4.7-inch display, this will feel really native. But the problem, again, I wouldn't recommend this either because nothing wants to download. If I try and download like Flappy Bird, if I download Flappy Bird, it's gonna start installing, but once it's about done installing, it's gonna say couldn't install Flappy Bird. Yep. So is it possible to use iOS 6 in 2020? Yes, but no, because you have to jailbreak, you have to download older versions of apps, sometimes they crash, sometimes they just don't work anymore. So why? You could easily just pick up an iPhone SE off of eBay for less than $100. If you learned how to waste your time downloading Heads Up on iOS 6, then please leave a like.